You're listening to a special presentation from Night of the Living podcast, Zoned Out with Freddie, Joe, and our special guest today, Matt Hoffman. Here we go into the zone, people. I'm in Twilight Zone now. It's that easy.
Who's that? It's Matt. Hey, Matt.
Hey,
How you
I'm
doing?
back.
Can't believe it's the end of the first season.
It is.
Made it.
Yeah. Next week we're gonna do like a recap. Matt, if you want to join us, we're gonna like talk
Recap of season one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Revisit.
interesting. Okay, let's
Yeah.
see. Let's check the old Twilight Zone calendar and see
Yeah.
what's going on.
Revisit the Twilight Zone, revisiting the Twilight Zone.
I assume the views have been skyrocketing. It must be a fan favorite then. If I'm being invited for the season one recap, how could I let everyone down?
Yeah, man.
Right on.
Absolutely. So this is
Love that.
original air date, July 1st, 1960. This is the first and only episode directed by Ralph Nelson. He directed Rod Serling's earliest and biggest success, Playhouse 90, Requiem for a Heavyweight, which is that's the thing that made America notice who Rod Serling was, and all these production companies notice, that he was a great writer. He's best known for directing TV, and the film Lilies of the Field was his most successful work. The fifth of 16 episodes written by Richard Matheson. For more about him, just listen to our "And When the Sky Was Open" podcast. We get more into detail on that there. It's a cast of 5, including Serling. We have the character Gregory West. He's one of America's most noted playwrights. Victoria West, Gregory's real-life wife. Mary is Gregory's imaginary mistress. And then we have an elephant in here, Modoc the elephant. But so Gregory West, he's first and only appearance by Keenan Wynn, who is the son of the Wynn who was in One for the Angels.
And the grandfather of Kanye West.
Wouldn't that be fucking wild?
Rumored. You guys, is my invite for next week? Are you taking that away now?
That's still solid.
I'm gonna mute my microphone. I'm sorry.
I thought we were going to go from Keenan to Keenan Ivory Wayans somehow. Or
He's
connect. That's
sired
first
the
name.
entire line.
Should we start this one over?
No.
Hey, we're welcome to Zoned Out, the Twilight Zone podcast.
If you remember that's who inspired King, what was the King of Candyland or whatever in Wreck-It Ralph? Who had the voice like this. So that's his dad. This is the son of that guy. Edwin is the father. Keenan's the son.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
Yeah, Edwin was in One for the Angels, and he comes back in 90 Years Without Slumbering. Let's see. This was 6 films that this actor had been in that were in the National Film Registry. And that's Touch of Evil, Dr. Strangelove, Point Blank, and Once Upon a Time in the West. Also Nashville and The Goonies, which is the one that caught my eyes because he was Chester Copperpot, who never really appears on screen alive.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I love
Fun
that.
fact.
Wouldn't it be funny if they were just his bones? They gave him screen credit. He's long dead, but still in the Goonies. Gregory's wife, Victoria, is played by Phyllis Kirk. She's best known for playing Nora Charles in the TV mystery series The Thin Man, or Ellen Lacey in the film noir Crime Wave, which was a big deal. Known for being outspoken, Phyllis was a member of the ACLU. She campaigned against capital punishment. She walked with a limp, if I remember reading that right, because she maybe had polio as a kid, I want to say, but it's not my notes. It's just kind of, she had an interesting activism.
She had a specialized Activision. It was custom colored and had all the games.
She appeared in Pitfall and Pitfall 2. No, I'm kidding. What's wrong with me?
We're too early to be going off the rails in this episode.
That's right. Welcome to Zoned Out.
It'd be a great one.
Again. Yeah.
So all the activism that she did led to the end of her acting career because she was just too unpredictable, I guess, in air quotes, for like the studios to feel like they could hire her, and then they want to stay out of politics, the studios in this era.
Wow.
So Mary, the mistress Mary, this is the first of 2 appearances from Mary LaRoche, who she's going to come back in one of the all-time most classic episodes, Living Doll, playing opposite Telly Savalas in a doll and a little girl. Best known for playing Doris McCaffey in the movie musical Bye Bye Birdie. And our last star of this episode is Modoc the elephant. This was the beginning of the career for this former circus elephant. She lived to be 79 years old, and she died shortly after her trainer died. And that's sad. It's kind of sweet.
Oh. It's like that Ben Folds song, Luckiest.
Yeah, it's just like that. That's a good song. Gregory West's method of working in the episode is he dictates into like an old time dictaphone with a reel-to-reel tape. This is actually like how Rod Serling wrote the scripts for the Twilight Zone, but instead of being in the office, he would do it by his pool, probably like sucking darts and growling into that thing between like making himself, completely leathery. It's good shit. It brings a real vivid thing to my mind
because that recorder that appeared in the I always forget the episode name, but the one with the cowboy and time traveling.
Oh, the Execution.
Execution, yes, because that appears with the doctor talking into that one. So it's made a few appearances, I feel like.
Yeah, I think that's. I'd love to have those tapes. I don't know if there still exist of his brainstorming sessions. How many of them are still around? But that would be an amazing find.
And Time Enough at Last, the banker had one too.
Yeah, dictaphones. Who knew? Now it's the Notes app.
Gotta bring those back.
You should bring them back. I feel like the voice memo app on the phone is underutilized by creative people. Get in there.
We're one influencer away from them just bringing out a dictaphone and being like, look, this is cool again, kids. And then all the kids will be like, I want a dictaphone because this idiot on TikTok said it was cool again.
It's like people who only write in Moleskine journals. They refuse to use anything else. I'm like, just use what you have on hand. You'll be okay.
You get a Moleskine journal, a boombox, and a dictaphone. You'll be set.
That's all you need. That and a bunch of TV dinners, Salisbury steaks.
Retro starter pack.
This is the very last episode featuring the Eye. We've been talking about that for a few weeks now. Bye Bye Eye. I can't wait to see the opening credits of the next season where it's all refreshed. It's one of those things I didn't pay a lot of attention to until I was really digging deep and realized that they weren't always consistent. The set for this episode is a modified version of Garth Williams' living room from A Stop at Willoughby. And it's shot from a different angle too. Looks like
it's so cool. You can like see that very much so. It's like when because it's such a unique setup with the stairs and in the room to the fireplace. It's like a weird room in Willoughby. I remember I was on Willoughby. This is the last episode or so I was on with you guys. And during that, I mean, we didn't bring it up because whatever. But you're in that scene. It's like, well, that's a weird room.
It is.
And now again, we're like, oh, it's a weird room. So it's very noticeably the Willoughby room. I feel like, minus the staircase.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder what happened to that kind of, like, I had a friend in high school who had one of those conversation pits in their house, and it was a fireplace. It was awesome.
Bring those back with the dictaphones and conversation pits.
Come back with you could sit in your conversation pit and dictaphone your screenplay ideas.
You need a TikToker to do it. What's up? It's your boy. Check out my new conversation pit I got. Y'all gotta like and subscribe and get your own conversation pits. And then there'll be a big hit. It'll be a hit.
Next week, I'm whipping out my dictaphone.
Oh, get your dictaphone. We got a discount code below.
And yet they would still push supplements for some reason. You'd be like, what? Everyone's pushing supplements.
Don't forget to take your athletic greens. And,
My dictaphone will take care of your fine lines and wrinkles.
Find the Amazon link below.
Oh, man. This episode is the first time Rod Serling
You're
appears
either going to gain or lose a lot of listeners after this episode. I feel like we're really something's going to happen after this. So let's see. I got to check those metrics.
They got to be loving. They're thinking it. What you're saying, man, thinking it. They're like, dictaphones, yes. Conversation pits, absolutely. The first time Rod Serling appears on screen and interacts with one of the characters in the episode, which is pretty cool. Spoiler alert. So he did make appearances obviously in the narrations, and they change how those are done from season to season, but this is the only time he does that. Only Twilight Zone incarnations besides this they have featured, again, we say these themes come up over and over again, but Dream Lover and Blurry Man kind of we'll talk about those later on, are from the series that I want to say Forrest Whitaker hosted, and they kind of retread these kind of stories with those. That's all I've got for that. So I'm just going to turn it over to you guys right after this. Welcome back. Joe, let's get into the meat.
All right. Actually, I want to say before I started that, this is one of my episodes that I had totally not remembered. I mean, I knew it existed, but couldn't remember what the ending was. So I love the fact that we haven't quite spoiled this yet. Because this one threw me and was charming in seeing the twist all happen. Do you have any comments on this one right off the bat, Matt?
No, Freddie didn't mention this, and I don't know if this is like a factor or not. It did strike me. Maybe there's other episodes, and this one just hit me. It takes place like all in real time. I feel it's not super common. Like there was not any kind of, and there were cuts, but not it disjointed the time narrative of it.
Man,
I thought it was kind of cool.
Yeah, you're right.
It's like watching it unfold.
Yeah. I can't think
I
of
was trying to
others.
think back when I was watching it as it was happening, like midway through, it kind of struck me. I'm like, we're just going to watch this whole thing play out. Because there are other episodes that do that. I'm sure there may be, but nothing that kind of like
the only one I can think of, maybe a game of pool might have taken place all in one go. But I think there's a time lapse in the middle of that one where during the pool game there like fades out and fades back in. But this doesn't really do that. Like doesn't show any passage of time, does it?
Yeah,
straight scene.
Another thing, I guess I'll just jump in with this. I gotta say, I mean, this is, guys, I apologize. This is probably more of a me thing, but it was distracting to me. Victoria's eye makeup was, I don't know if Freddie, you mentioned she had polio. I don't know if you messed up her ability to do proper winged eyeliner, but like they were both sides were janky as hell. One was totally disconnected from the eyeliner, and then as the episode went on, it would smudge over her lid, and then finally, inexplicably, with like the last 5 minutes of the episode, everything got fixed. So I think someone must have noticed something, and then was like, "We're not reshooting this whole thing. You're just gonna have messed up eyeliner, lady." But there were scenes where like when it was close up on her, I couldn't even focus on the dialogue she was saying because I was so distracted by her. Anyway, okay, that's it. That's all I got.
She's so severe. You're right. Like she's, quote unquote severe looking, as I've heard that look described. She's still a beautiful woman, but like, right.
Nothing. I'm sure like when she gets out of the shower, wakes up in the morning, she's fine. But whoever did that makeup, these should be fired from that job.
I have a theory on that. We can come back to at the end because I don't want to spoil anything ahead of time. But let's remind me to come back to the makeup theory.
Okay, I'll remind you.
All right, so we start off, and it's a bucolic scene of this guy gazing over the back of his couch at a woman, and we get Rod Serling's intro of the home of Gregory West, one of America's most noted playwrights, the office of Mr. Gregory West. Mr. Gregory West, shy, quiet, and at the moment, very happy. Merry, warm, affectionate, and the final ingredient, Mrs. Gregory West. Now, I blew through that quickly, but in each of those moments, they're pausing and showing you a different scene. So it starts off, and you're seeing Mr. Gregory West, the America's most noted playwrights, and they show his office kind of panning around. Then they pan down to Mr. Gregory West, and he's kind of looking over the couch and shy and quiet. And then they pan to Mary and warm, affectionate, and then the two of them kind of connecting and looking lovingly at each other. And then it pans over to the window with Mrs. Gregory West. Dun, dun, dun. And that's the woman we're saying with the eye makeup. The other thing I was note here is because obviously this is the 50s, 60s, I'm imagining, I always try to remember imagining this on like a tiny little screen that's half blurry and half kind of like, not real clear picture with the quality of that film, which we see in Blu-ray quality, right? Everybody else watching in what, 240p? What's the...
the original back in 60?
TV broadcast
Yeah,
quality.
yeah.
Yeah. So you maybe wouldn't even seen that, and maybe it looked more distinctive than, I don't know. Who knows?
Some of those
Yeah,
TVs
no,
look like a
sure.
dirty old porthole on an old ship.
Yes. Imagining looking through the porthole of a ship at a video screen. So we're in here, and the Mary and Gregory are speaking lovingly to each other, and Mary is gonna offer him a drink because she's made, this is very like 50s, 60s, like weird patriarchal stuff. So bear with it. She offers him a drink, and he says, how, is it ready? And she's like, we'll let the master decide. I was like, ooh. And Gregory's.
Did you look
Gregory
around to make
takes
sure
it-
your girlfriend wasn't in the room? You're like, hey,
Right, exactly.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
oh,
ooh.
yee. Very very different time.
Yeah.
And so he takes a drink, and he's like, perfect as always. And she's like, are you describing yourself, Mr. West? and he comes back with, let the mistress decide. And she goes, she's decided. It's like very racy dialogue for 1960. And she sits down, and it's interesting. He uses the phrase mistress because she is a mistress. And so they're talking, and they're flirting with each other and kind of nuzzling with each other. And all of a sudden you hear a dunk, dunk, dunk knock at the door. And we know that it's Mrs. Gregory West, which is another, again, phrase that is a little bit unfortunate with the patriarchal thing. Anyway, he's freaking out, and hears her coming in and drops his drink at that time. And so they Mary and he kind of have this kind of panicked look, and so you think he's going to be discovered. And so she starts talking through the door. This is Victoria, start talking through the door, like, can I come in? I just want to kiss you. I just want to come see you. And Gregory's like, we have to. And she's like, Mary says, I don't want to, not again. And you're like, what? She's got to hide. Was she hiding before? What's that? So a little bit of a question there. And we see kind of both of them go off camera. And then he comes back with a pair of scissors. And you're like, what? Why does he have scissors? So he opens the door, and Victoria immediately comes charging in like, oh, hello, dear. Walks past him and starts exploring the room for where she might be. Because Victoria obviously saw Mary through the window. And so she doesn't confront him directly about it. She starts asking him all these questions. And as she's walking around the room, she's like knocking on the walls and looking for secret passages. And you're thinking, like, doesn't she live here? Like, does she know what this house is? And so they're talking about this, and they're kind of playing this cat and mouse game where she's like, I could have sworn I saw you in here with a woman. And she looked like this. She had this blonde hair, and she had this tacky blouse. Or what was it? She called a peasant blouse,
Yeah,
I think, or something like that. Peasant dress.
She negged her head to toe pretty much.
Yeah. She tears her apart and is like insulting her. And Gregory's like, oh, ha, 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 ha. I can't imagine how were you imagined her that way? And they're joking back and forth. And then at one point she goes something like, it has such a frumpy look to her, or something like that. And he's like, well, it's not so frumpy. So he gives it away that he actually was there with her. And so then Victoria gets, oh, I knew it. I knew you were right there. And I saw you in the mirror, or I saw you in the window, and starts snapping at him. And Gregory's, not freaking out, but you see like he's reacting in a way like, oh, this is kind of disappointing. And so they're trying to figure out how, or he starts to explain to her what's actually happening with this. Where I'm not having an affair. Like she's just another woman who I brought in here. And he comes to explain that he just made her. He just thought her up and made her. And he starts talking about the different plays he's done and how he can just talk into his dictaphone and create. And now Victoria's like, well, one, you're crazy. And two, you're just trying to get out of cheating on me. So I'm not going to let you get away with that.
Don't you guys feel like this is, but last week we were talking about robots and we never really got into AI, but like
robots.
Robots. Thank you, robots. This feels almost like the guys who have AI girlfriends in a way to me.
Yes.
Yeah, the companion movie that came out kind of recently. You're right.
Yeah, it's got that vibe for sure.
Totally. And this guy is he's the equivalent of the modern nerd with shy, quiet playwright in his office.
Even in the 50s, people, like, as soon as you create a female robot, its immediate function is to have sex with you. Like, it's a sex bot, you know?
Of course.
Male robot, baseball. Female robot, I'm going to have sex with you. That's what we're doing.
It makes drinks and it screws.
It's written by a dude, so, I mean, you know, it's where are you going to start?
Dictated again by his pool. Probably in those little swim trunks with sunglasses and a cigarette dangling out of his mouth. Zero sunscreen. Hot California sun. He's like, she's got big voluptuous boobies.
She wants to make love to a catcher's mitt. That's me. Yeah. And so they go through, and he starts explaining. Okay, well, you know how I made that play, you know. And she's like, okay, I'm just going to entertain the fact that you're talking and try and find a way out of this room, because she tries to get out and he locks the door, and he's forcing her to listen to him explain how he did this. Of course, she doesn't believe him. Who would? And because we saw at the beginning, this woman was there, and now she's somewhere. She's hidden somewhere, right? So he goes to the dictaphone and starts describing this, summoning Mary out of nothingness, creating her. And he starts describing how she's walking up the front steps, and she's coming into the hallway, and you can hear off camera, like, there's footsteps and the door closing, and Victoria's kind of like, wait, what is that? You know? And eventually it gets to the point where he's like, and she's coming to the study, and she opens the door, and sure enough, there's Mary as Victoria opens the door, and they do kind of like that. They're both turning at the same time, double take, kind of like, oh, what?
They Freaky Friday each other in the eyes.
Right. And so Victoria sees this, and she's still just like, okay, but you had her waiting outside. You coordinated this. You planned all this stuff. Which I like how Victoria is taking a very human, like very practical, pragmatic view of this. Like,
yeah,
dude, you're screwing with me. This is a fake. You're screwing this with me to get to the point where I believe you. So he says basically, I'll uncreate her now. And Mary's like, no, it's that same thing where you said about the AI girlfriend, where it's the AI wanting, no, I want to live. Don't uncreate me again.
Oh, horrible. I don't even know if I could do that to like an AI on my phone. If I had made I wouldn't be able to do what he does. It feels like murder.
And he goes over to his dictaphone. He snips out the recording of her and tosses it in the fire, and she disappears on camera even. And Victoria's like, what just happened? And again, trying to escape, accusing Gregory of being crazy, that he's needs to go to an insane asylum and all this sort of stuff. And so she's kind of playing along at some points, and she's kind of pushing back at other points. And he keeps describing, you know, I'm not making this up. This is how this is. And so at one point she tries to, she tells him that she's going to have him committed, and she's trying to get away. And he goes, okay, I didn't want to do this, but I'm going to have to. And she's like, I don't want to be with you. I want a divorce. I'm going to have you committed. He goes over to the safe, a hidden wall in the safe, or hidden safe in the wall. And she goes, when did that get put in there? And he's like, well, when we got married. Or when you, what do you say? When I met you, or something to that effect.
Yeah.
Kind of tongue in cheeks.
Or yeah.
And he opens
after we met. Yeah. I don't remember. Yeah. It's not important.
Yeah. And so he reaches in, pulls out an envelope that has her name on it. And you're like, is this like her half of the money or something?
It's full of Dave and Buster's gift cards. Here's 20,000 Dave and Buster points. Congratulations. So
he hands it to her, and she's like, "What's this?" And he's like, I didn't want to do it, but that's you. I created you first, and then you just started doing stuff on your own, and I didn't want to have to get to this point, but like that, you're just another creation of mine. And she's like, bullshit. Basically doesn't believe him, doesn't trust him. And I think like he does the Mary summoning thing again.
Yeah.
And Victoria actually gets out into the hallway again this time. And when she does, he's like quickly runs over to the dictaphone and he's like, my wife is blocked by an elephant in the hallway. And she gets outside, and all of a sudden you see there's, what you say, Modoc?
Yeah, Modoc.
the elephant is in the hallway, and she's like, what? And she turns around and comes back in. I think, or she's like, I believe you, fine, I believe you. And she comes back in, and I think maybe then she does the safe. Sorry, I got this all out of order.
No, it's okay. It still makes sense.
Yeah, so she grabs the film. She grabs the recording of her in the envelope, and she's like, "This is baloney. I'll show you." And she goes to throw it in the fire, and he's like, "No, no!" And she's like, tosses it in, and all of a sudden she feels a little faint, and she's like, "What's happening?" And he's like, "I told you the truth, you know." And she's like, "No," and disappears.
You know, it's interesting in this scene. There's another anthology that had a story in it where this guy made like a voodoo doll. It's a very similar scene. He had a doll of his wife, and he told her, you know, if anything happens to the doll, you'll die. And she throws it in the fire because she doesn't believe him.
Yeah. Well, isn't there, I don't want to spoil anything for another movie, but Hereditary has a familiar kind of connection to this, right?
Yeah, I could see that.
There's the scene with where
you do the exact opposite of what you should do.
Gabriel Byrne is like, we can't get rid of this, and she's like, no, he's like, we got to get rid of that thing. And
yeah,
anyway, I won't go into it too much.
No spoilers on that one, right? Who knows?
Right.
Just in case somebody hasn't seen it. Yeah, that's a great movie.
There you go. And so she's gone, and now he's like, huh? And he's like, well, you know, I gotta go get her back. She destroyed herself. And he goes over to his dictaphone, and he's like, okay, I'm imagining there's a woman, and he's like, oh, wait a second. He's like, Mrs. Mary West. And he goes into this whole description of her, very kindly describing her again from the beginning, but now instead of Mrs. Victoria West, it's Mrs. Mary West, his preferred mistress partner. And she reappears, and it gets to be there for good, and that's the end, and they live happily ever after with the new fantasy creation.
Well, Victoria just doesn't exist anymore.
Just gone.
It's fun to think about the greater context of the absurdity of some of these episodes. This is a great one. Like, you have this Victoria who has ostensibly been around as a person, like they've been married, whatever that means, you know, for probably years, and then she just disappears. And so, like, how is that accounted for? Is there like a criminal investigation if you were to put like a part 2 of this episode? And then, you know, what could he like really just kind of like, he's been with this person for so long, and also the odd, strange choice of powers, like the way that he chooses to use them is so odd. I originally think it's like all for creating people, and then you see he can create this elephant. You go, I just create some money and a great house, and like you can create anything, but he's making these like naggy women. They're probably gonna ruin his life. Also, I'm sure you know what's gonna happen. Mary's just another one. She's just gonna be annoying. Oh, who's that? What are you doing? Go clean the garage. Did you clean the garage today? What? No.
You know,
anyway,
you could do a whole movie with this based on that idea where, you know, these things happen, but it's really from the perspective of somebody else figuring out why. And you could have like, there's got to be something in him that makes Victoria to begin with, right? I doubt he's described her as being like cruel or anything.
Yeah, it's like they evolve. They're like you said, that AI is becoming sentient, and it starts, you know, right. He didn't design her that way.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting.
Even robot women, they just turn, you know.
He starts out, and parts of it, he describes how he didn't feel and you think that he's trying to connive, but he talks about how he didn't feel he was good enough for her, like she was so much better than him. And obviously these days people would go into cuck territory, which we won't go over, but
we'll hint at it.
Right. But you wonder if like maybe this is part of all of his personality, that he does have the house that he wants and the this and that, but he just wants something relatively simple, and so he's only creating the things that are interesting to him in his life, and what have you. But
yeah,
I'm going to circle back to my makeup theory. Okay, so she's got the funky makeup, right? Okay, well, if Gregory West designed her, maybe
he
didn't know what he was doing, and he was bad at describing her, right? And she's got that that one makeup on her eyes, and I don't know, something where it's kind of drawn out. He's kind of describing.
And you give a bad prompt, and you get kind of like four fingers or something on a hand.
Totally
do it quite right.
What if Gregory had never seen a woman nude? And now that was all wrong too. Yeah.
I want mine to have those lumps that I see on people.
Gregory.
It's just she was the original bad AI prompt, and then he got better at it over time.
Weird Science, probably an evolution of this. If we're going to look at influence on pop culture.
Definitely. Good call.
All right, and then the fun thing happens. We get the fourth wall broken. So a moment later, they're smiling. Mary and Gregory are smiling at each other, and Rod Serling appears sitting on the desk, and he's like, "We hope you enjoyed tonight's romantic story on the Twilight Zone. At the same time, we want you to realize that it was, of course, purely fictional. In real life, such ridiculous nonsense could never." And then Gregory stops him and goes, "Rod, you shouldn't." And then he walks over to the safe, pulls out another envelope containing with the name Rod Serling written on it. He goes, "I mean, you shouldn't say things such as nonsense and ridiculous." And he continues, and he takes the envelope and tosses that in the fire. And Serling kind of looks at the camera and goes, "Well, that's the way it goes," and disappears.
And then Turn Out for What starts playing.
Yeah.
I think it's such a great season ender. I think it's a great idea. I think it's perfectly executed. The way they did it is real just quick and fun.
Yeah, it's a great way to leave you too. Yeah, like you're saying, with Rod Serling just disappearing for the end of the whole season.
Did they know that they were going into season 2 at that point, or that could have been it?
I don't know if they were renewed or not at that point.
It's funny, He's just kind of like, "Hey, this might be it. I'm out of here."
Yeah, that'd be a great exit.
And so he goes back, and Gregory joins Mary for a drink, and Serling's voiceover comes on. He goes, "Leaving Mr. Gregory West, still shy, quiet, very happy, and apparently in complete control of the Twilight Zone."
Good stuff.
It's a great ending.
It was fun.
So, man, season 1. It's kind of like you just sit back and you go, "We did it, man." 36 episodes of the Twilight Zone, intently researched and watched.
Yeah.
It's such a good season. I mean,
it is going to be
for its time, for all time. It's just so good.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm sorry. Go ahead, Freddie.
Oh no, I was just going to say the first season is almost impossible to top.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of a novice as far as it goes, because I haven't seen a lot of the rest of the episodes for a long time, or if I've ever seen them. So I'm going to ask the two more experienced veterans of the Twilight Zone, how does it go from here on out? What the rest of the seasons, does it keep the quality up pretty high, or do we see some diminishing, or what do you think?
I think like it is. Yeah, I think blanket overall, you're going to get like amazing episodes and terrible ones every season. That's like, there's highs and lows, I think, on all of them. 2 might be my least favorite, but again, so many great ones. 5 might be like after 1, I think might be my most favorite. 4 is definitely a weird one. Joe, I don't know if you're the whole hour-long format change at that point, but season 4 is all hour-longs, and that really is like, that to me is the most polarizing, where the episodes are either really good or really bad. Like, there aren't a lot, I feel, in season 4 that I just kind of like, that was fine. Either I'm like, get me out of this, I'm so bored, or this was pretty cool. Good hour.
There's some of the best episodes don't even come along until the 5th season too, which is crazy because you're like, they have to have peaked. But there are episodes that pop up.
I think The Mask is season 5, and that was always one of my favorites, if I remember correctly.
Anyway, some good
one. that's great to hear, because I've heard of people talking about the different seasons and how it kind of arcs at one even, and then two's got a few, and then it goes. But I'm looking forward to watching the rest of them, because I like defying the.
Every season has like at least one iconic episode, I would say, that like has been in pop culture that you've heard of or something, for sure.
Yeah, and all the other ones kind of pad out your understanding of like half-baked ideas that become refined later on. So it's kind of fun to watch them anyway when they're bad a little bit, if you're a freaking obsessive nerd like me.
So listeners, that means keep listening, because we got 4 more seasons of this coming at you.
Absolutely.
And next week, summary. So what, I don't know, we'll have to figure out what exactly what format we want to cover this in as far as the recap.
Why don't we
Listener
come in
mailbag?
Did you say mailbag?
Listener mailbag, yeah.
That's a good idea. You can email crew@notlp.com, or you can just email me, Freddy@notlp.com, or post on any of NOTLP's socials will get to me sooner or later through Andy, who manages all that stuff. But any questions or comments, send them along.
Right on.
Great. Thanks, guys. And Matt, you'll join us hopefully be able to join us for our little season 1 review.
Yeah, let's talk after this and figure that out.
All right, great. Thanks, everybody, for listening.
Right on.
Thanks for having me.